We start with some breaking news coming in from the US President Donald Trump right now. He has held a meeting with US defense companies and asked them to ramp up production. Trump put out this social media post saying that he had a meeting with the CEOs of US defense manufacturing companies, the heads of BAE Systems, Boeing, Honeywell Aerospace, L3Harris Missile Solutions, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman and Raytheon were all reportedly present. Trump says that they have agreed to quadruple production of what he called Exquisite class weaponry. Trump even says the US wants to reach the highest levels of quantity of these so-called exquisite weapons as rapidly as possible. He also claimed that the US had virtually unlimited supplies of medium and upper medium grade munitions, but that orders for them had been increased as well. Trump's announcement comes amid reports that Iran's constant attacks on Israel and American assets in West Asia are causing interceptor missile stocks to deplete at an alarming rate. Well, for more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani joining us live from New York. Susan, in a latest development, President Donald Trump says US defense companies have agreed to quadruple production of advanced weapons systems after a meeting at the White House. What more do we know about this plan to dramatically ramp up weapons production, and which systems could be prioritized?
Right. So President Trump, after that meeting with defense contractors, said that they have agreed to quadruple the stockpiles and the processing. Now, the executives of BAE Systems, Boeing, Honeywell, Raytheon, and others were at that meeting. They seem to have agreed to this increase in production. And while President Trump says that we have virtually unlimited supplies of weapons to carry out this war, and also medium and upper medium grade munitions, he also noted that, you can look at the issue and what we did in Venezuela as sort of a blueprint of what we're planning in Iran, although many analysts believe that that's very different. And as I was saying, despite the president saying this, the military analysts that we speak to say that the US's weapons stockpile is actually finite. It's not unlimited, it's not infinite, and that the US in this war is going to face some problems, notably when it comes to the number of interceptor stockpiles because of the number of missiles that are coming in from Iran and hitting US bases and special interests in the Middle East. And the first week really proved that those interceptors need to be restocked. Now, we do know that when it comes to Raytheon, in address to your questions, they have agreed to amass more Tomahawks. Tomahawks was a very important weapon that the president wanted to increase in production. But it's also important to note that the meeting comes amidst a $50 billion supplemental budget request to pay for this increase in weapons that ultimately President Trump will have to go to Congress to get the approval.
Susan, now this move to massively increase weapons production and deepen military operations could eventually require congressional backing. What kind of reaction is this getting on Capitol Hill right now?
Yeah, this really comes at a time when Capitol Hill is divided on partisan fronts, as we saw with the War Powers Resolution, or often called the War Powers Act, which it didn't pass because there is a majority not only in the House of Representatives, but in the Senate as well in favor of the White House. The Republicans hold a narrow majority in both. So now, ultimately, the president is going to have to go to Congress and ask for this money for the increase in weapons and in stockpiles. So it'll be interesting and noteworthy to see. It's hard to imagine that Congress won't back him again because of that majority that the president enjoys. But there's one aspect of this war and this operation, and that's the longer it drags on, the more questions arise on first of all, the strategies, how much weapons is being used, and ultimately what the end goal is. Despite the fact that the White House has made those clear, I think lawmakers are going to want to hear more about that before opening up America's pocketbooks.
Right. Thank you, Susan, for joining us and breaking this down for us.